Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Wispin here. Welcome back to another video here on the Pokecentral network. Today, we're actually getting back into the How to Train Your Pokemon series. So if you weren't here for the last time we did this series, basically, it's pretty simple. The way that it works is we choose a Pokemon, and we go out, find that Pokemon, breed that Pokemon, train that Pokemon, and try to get the best possible version of that Pokemon. So it's an opportunity for us to explore some new Pokemon, but it's also an opportunity to teach you guys a little bit about a specific Pokemon and different uses that it can actually have in competitive battles. So you probably already know from the thumbnail of this video, but we're going to be doing Crawdaunt today. So Crawdaunt is actually a really powerful Pokemon, especially if you have the right setup for him. He's not the most used, and actually I really don't see that many people use him at all, but I know he is super viable, he's really powerful, and he definitely can be used really well in a lot of situations. He's a physical attacker, he's kind of weak in the defensive stats, so he's not super tanky, but he does have some insane potential for physical damage, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. His base physical attack is 120, but that's not even where it gets crazy. It gets crazy with his ability combined with a held item, combined with certain moves. But before we jump into any of that, I want to go ahead and quickly say, here on the Pokecentral network, well, first, if you aren't playing already, what are you doing? And also, all of the links that you need to download and install Pixelmon can be found in the description down below. But we actually are now selling boosters here on the server. If you don't know what boosters are, if you type /booster in game, you get a little bit of information on it. Basically, they're 60-minute boosters that have a certain effect on the server. So for example, we have a triple experience booster, a triple shiny booster, and I believe it is double legendary booster. All of the details for the specific rates of each of these boosters will be on the store page, but we are selling them now over in the store. The way that it's going to work is we are only going to sell 5 of each per day per server. So they are pretty limited. If you want to check it out, if they are in stock, go ahead, check out buy.pokecentral.org. Can't promise they'll be in stock. I don't really know how quickly they'll sell out, but there's a really cool feature with them where if you activate a booster, every other player on the server can type /tip, and you will get 5 gems on top of getting the booster effects. Now, all of these boosters are global boosters, meaning they affect all the players on the server, not just you. So, for example, if you activate a legendary booster, it guarantees 1 legendary for the entire server. It's not just for you. So that little gem tip feature actually helps to make up for the fact that you're paying for the booster, but it affects everyone. With that being said, things like the experience booster, you'll get the same effect. Everyone else will get it, but you'll get triple experience, so it's a pretty good buy there. The shiny and the legendary are a bit more random. Probably should be more seen as things to, one, get the gems from tip, but also just help out players and have some fun, support the server. So with that aside, let's jump into today's video. Number one, we need to get our hands on a Crawdaunt. Now, luckily, I've been playing on the server for quite a while, so if we check our PC, from our casino opening, where I opened 10 million coins worth of casino tokens, we actually have a Crawdaunt, as well as a few Corphish. But if we wanted to catch our own, we'd actually need to head either to a river or a swamp biome. So Corphish actually spawns only during the day, and Crawdaunt spawns during the night. So you actually have a pretty good opportunity to get either one of them, depending on if it's day or night. And since they are on separate times, you'll actually have a pretty good chance just sitting around waiting for them to spawn in. I think it might have a higher spawn rate in the river biome. I feel like there's probably less overall Pokemon that spawn in the river than there is in the swamp, so I feel like I've seen them a bit more there. With that being said, river biomes are a little bit harder to find because swamp biomes, you can just head over to Warp Safari, and there's one right here. So if you don't actually have a Crawdaunt already, you can't find one on the GTS. Speaking of which, you can do GTS search Crawdaunt. Pokemon Crawdaunt. Sorry about that. There we go. There is none. Corphish. Is there one of those? How do you spell Corphish? I think that was right. So neither Corphish or Crawdaunt is currently on the GTS, which just shows it's really not that common of a Pokemon. But we're not going to wait around because, like I said, we already have our Crawdaunt. We already have a bunch of Corphish, so we're going to move on to the next step, which is taking a look at the IVs of the Pokemon and the nature, which are all things that you need to breed. So before we get into the details of our Crawdaunt, I want to quickly say a big thank you to Blazing Fox, which is the admin here on the server. He actually gave me this setup for Crawdaunt. He explained it all to me, explained how it works, explained why it's good, and he actually plays a lot more competitive Pokemon than I personally do. I'm pretty bad at it, but he's really great at it. So if you see him on the server or over on Discord, make sure you say thank you to him because it's actually really awesome what he's doing. And with that being said, it's really important for our Crawdaunt to be hidden ability. So hidden ability for Crawdaunt is actually adaptability, and adaptability actually increases the amount of damage that your stab moves do. So a stab move is a move that matches the type of your Pokemon. So for example, Crawdaunt being a dark and water type Pokemon, all of their water and dark type moves normally do plus 50% damage on top of their base power, but with the move adaptability, they actually do plus 100%. So it's 2 times power right off the bat just by using a move that matches your Pokemon's type and having hidden ability. It's pretty important. Now, I will say hidden ability is a little bit hard to come by. I'm pretty sure none of our Crawdaunts or Corphishes are going to be hidden ability, so we may have to use gems for that just because it's a 1 in 175 chance in the wild. So that would take a pretty long time to actually find. But like I said, pretty important that it is hidden ability for this setup because it does do a significant amount more of damage. Okay, so looking at all of ours, it looks like, yeah, we don't have any hidden abilities. In terms of the nature that we're actually looking for, it's Jolly. That increases your speed and lowers your special attack. So the reason we want Jolly nature is just to increase that speed while not impacting any stats that we're actually using. So it'll lower special attack, which is not really important. And we want to increase speed just so we can outspeed certain Pokemon. Crawdaunt has pretty bad speed overall. It's actually his tied for his lowest stat with special defense. So it's really important that we get that. And actually, our Crawdaunt here does have Jolly nature. So that will help out a little bit with the breeding process. And we can actually just go ahead and check the IVs on this guy, which is going to be 50%. So not the greatest starting point, but pretty much, I mean, I guess literally right in the middle because it's 50%. So that'll be good. We do have our Ditto, I believe anyways. Ditto. See. Where is our Ditto? I think our Ditto is actually still in our ranch block over here. So where? Oh, he's still breeding with her Natu. What were you breeding a Natu for? I don't actually. It's pretty sad, but I actually cannot remember. Okay, so we need to take out our Ditto, and then we need to actually try to find him in our PC again. And we can get rid of all of these Corphishes. We should probably have kept them just for breeding purposes, but too late now. So let me grab our Ditto. Speaking of which, we can actually check the IVs. I think they're not maxed out completely, but... Oh, that can't be the right Ditto. Okay, yeah, that's the right Ditto. This Ditto's really bad. All right, we'll put him back. We'll keep this one. Now, his IVs are not perfect right now, but if we go ahead and jump into the Poke Designer, I know that we got a ton of gems from not only activating boosters here on the server, but also from the likes on this video. So if you don't know, for every like these videos gets, I give myself 1 gem on the server. That's just because I cannot purchase my own gems since I am the owner on the server, whereas players can purchase gems and modify their Pokemon. So I give myself a gem for every like. If you want to help me out here on the server, drop a like on the video. It lets me to modify certain Pokemon in situations where breeding or some other things, sometimes it just takes too long because it would take like multiple days or even weeks to breed a specific Pokemon, which doesn't really work well with videos. So let's boost up his attack and his HP to max. That's going to cost us 6,000, which leaves us plenty of gems to spare. All right, so I went ahead and I put both of the Pokemon in the daycare, the Ditto and the Crawdaunt. The Crawdaunt is holding an Everstone, and the Ditto is holding a Destiny Knot. If you guys don't know exactly how breeding works in Pixelmon, I'm not going to get into it in this video, but I do have a tutorial where I covered most of the different parts of breeding Pokemon, and I'll have that probably in the little eye icon in the top right corner if you want to check it out. But basically, we put our Pokemon in, I let them breed. We actually got our first egg, and it just so happened to be the perfect thing. I was actually very shocked by this. It has almost, well, basically perfect IVs. So it is 83%, not 100%. But if you look, it has 31 in every single stat, which was passed down, obviously, by the Ditto, except for special attack, which has 0. I honestly don't know how it happened. It's pretty crazy, but it actually works out perfectly because we don't need special attack. So we got a perfect Crawdaunt right off the bat. Now, as I said before, you do need hidden ability for the Crawdaunt to really work with this moveset, so we are going to have to go ahead and /hatch this egg, and then we are going to have to go into the Poke Designer and give it hidden ability. If you want it yourself to get hidden ability, you either need to use the Poke Designer, buy it off another player, of course, or just find it out in the wild. I believe the default rate is 1 in 175, so pretty rare, but definitely worth it if you're able to find one. Definitely don't suggest selling your hidden abilities, honestly. Just keep them for yourself. If you do sell them, make sure you sell them for a pretty good price so that they don't lose a bunch of value. But if we head into here, hidden ability, pretty expensive, 1,600 gems. Wow, that is really expensive. That's just to keep it rare. We don't really want people using the Poke Designer for hidden ability. We want you to go out and try to catch them. Gives you just something to do and keeps them rare so that players that actually do manage to get them, they still have some value. With that being said, we got adaptability as our ability, which of course I said earlier gives you plus 100% stab bonus for your same type moves versus the plus 50% that you usually get. And then nature, we should already have Jolly due to having an Everstone on our Crawdaunt. Our IVs are perfect. We don't need it to be shiny. Our Pokeball is fine, although I'm going to change it to a Premier Ball just because, you know, why not? Growth is probably fine. Gender is totally fine. And level, we can actually work on outside of the Poke Designer. So all we really needed to change was that ability over to adaptability to make him a little more viable. All right, so you may notice a lot of people around me. A lot of you guys like to go in my house. Figured I'd put it out in this video. There's so many people breaking into my house that we added the secret entrance for enhanced stocking experience. You guys can come in here. You can buy some drinks, and you can hang out if you want to stalk me. Try not to go in this part of my house, just because it can be a little bit hard to do things if people are throwing out their Pokemon down here. But, you know, it'll probably happen anyways. I just figured I don't know why I added it. But also, it's a secret, so don't tell anyone, of course. So I do this all the time, but I've made a little bit of a mistake. It turns out that 2 of the 4 moves that we actually want on our Crawdaunt are egg moves. If you don't know, egg moves are actually moves that can only be learned through the breeding process. You need to breed the Pokemon with another Pokemon that can naturally learn the moves in order for it to have a chance of passing down to the baby Pokemon. Since we didn't do that with our Corphish, what I'm going to do is just teach my Corphish the moves through commands. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I totally forgot, and I do this every time. So rather than spending another probably like 3 hours trying to breed another Corphish, I'm going to teach them moves. But if you want to get my exact moveset, you need to keep in mind that 2 of these moves are actually egg moves. So you'll have to go out, get another Pokemon that learns the moves naturally, breed them with a female Corphish or Crawdaunt, and have a chance at passing down those moves to the baby Corphish in order to actually get them on your Pokemon. So the 2 egg moves are actually, let me go ahead, teach, spin 2, are Dragon Dance, and I believe the other one is Aqua Jet. So if we go ahead and take a look at our Corphish's moveset, he actually already knew the move Knockoff, which is one of the moves that we're going to keep. He knows Dragon Dance and Aqua Jet now, which are both of the egg moves that we just taught him. Like I said, you'll have to get those through breeding. Kind of a pain. I wish I actually had checked that beforehand. But of course I didn't, because I never do that. I always forget. Happens every time. And then we actually need to get one more move, which is Crab Hammer, which he'll learn at a later level. So this is actually really awesome. Aqua Jet is a pretty decent move. It has really low power, but it does have priority. This move always goes first, which is really amazing, and it actually does a decent amount of damage when combined with our stab bonus and our ability adaptability. It'll actually do plus 100% damage right off the bat, which is awesome. Knockoff is actually a really good move because not only does it have reasonable base power, once we're actually Crawdaunt, we'll also get that stab bonus. We'll also get the adaptability bonus, which means Knockoff will do plus 100% damage. And if the opponent is actually using a held item, it'll do additional damage and make it so that item can't be used in battle. That's actually super helpful and has a lot of viability in competitive battles. Dragon Dance is here because we already have some pretty insane stats with our ability and just our stab bonuses, but if we get a Dragon Dance off, that actually increases both our attack and speed stats by 1 stage. 1 stage basically just means 50%, so every time we use Dragon Dance, we'll get plus 50% attack, plus 50% speed, which is going to be super, super helpful. If we can just get 1 Dragon Dance off in a battle, our Crawdaunt is going to be hitting like a cannon, and if we can get multiple off, he's just going to go through and one-shot a lot of Pokemon. All right, so I'm going to grab my EXPL. We're going to turn that on. Actually, let me check chat. It's now off. Okay, we're going to turn that on. And then actually, you know what? Do we have a lucky egg somewhere? Oh, wrong home. Okay, it's been probably a good 10, 15 episodes. Still have not moved my set home. But, all right, do we have a lucky egg? We'll put that on our gorefish here. And then I think the best place is probably warp training to get some levels. We need to level up so that we can not only evolve, but also learn the move Crab Hammer to finish out our moveset. And we also need to really focus on EVs. All right, now I'm actually curious. Do you get EVs from an EXPL? I've never tested this before. Currently, our core fish should have 0% EVs, but if we check... Oh, all the Pokemon here despawned. Okay. Shedinja. Can we even kill a Shedinja with our Naganadel? Thinking about it, I think Shedinja only has 1 HP, so probably not the best Pokemon to go for experience-wise. I think I'm in Vanish. That's probably why no Pokemon are spawning in. So there should be more starting to appear. Okay, let's try this Golurk. And I threw out the wrong Pokemon. Okay, I threw my Corphish. Not a good idea. Level 1 Corphish versus a level 65. Probably a bad call. Okay, so if we actually go ahead and just use Flamethrower here. Okay, that does enough damage. That should be good. I think we'll be able to take him out. And I think this should give me pretty significant amount of levels on our Corphish. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Wow, 15 levels? That's actually great. Okay. We'll just do that a couple more times. Shoal Salt, okay. Is there... Ooh, a Gengar. Interesting. Let me Poke Heal, and we'll try battling this Gengar here. Probably just Flamethrower again. That'll work. He's going to use Hex on me, not a big deal. Level 88. Oh, we can't actually use Flame. I think we can't really do anything then. Probably should have used... Yeah, that didn't do very much damage at all. All right, well, he killed himself, so that works for us. We'll learn... Oh, we won't learn Protect. Level 18. You know what? Ooh, Boss Hone Edge. I don't think we can kill this with just our Naganadel, so I'm going to grab out... Shedinja. Let's see, where are other Pokemon that we actually use in battle? I really need to organize my PC. This is really bad. I can never find anything in here. Chestnut. He's only level 76. Where are... Can we search by level somehow? Level 100? No, level 100. Okay, apparently we can't search by level. All right, I don't know how. All right, let's see how this goes. I think Flamethrower should be super effective. Yeah, actually, you know what? We can do this with just our Naganadel. Yeah, we don't even need other Pokemon. But it should give me quite a bit of experience with him being level 120, I think. Oh, never mind. Okay, didn't give me much. Boss drops? Oh, okay, I'll take it. You know, you can get an egg or two out of, well, one and a half eggs anyways out of those hourglasses. We got 1 rare candy, which I guess free extra level on our Corphish. Oh, I don't know what level he evolves. I think probably around 40. Okay, he actually evolves at level 30, and he learns Crab Hammer at level 48. So what I'm going to do is actually head to my P-Warp, and we're going to do this the easy way. I always have a bunch of rare candies just sitting in this chest. Never really make use of them. Might as well use them now. And just bump him up to level 48 to finish off the moveset. We need to actually check our EVs as well, because I don't know if they were affected by that. But here we go, getting our Crawdaunt. We got 1 move to go. Then we just need to do our EVs, and we need to get our held item. Okay, level 48, we'll learn Crab Hammer, and that is just a really solid water type move. So it has base 100 power, 90 physical accuracy, combined with our water type stab bonus and our adaptability. That's going to do plus 100% damage. If we can actually get off a Dragon Dance, that's another 50% damage on top of that. And then, of course, we're going to focus on getting our attack EVs, so it does even more damage. And then our held item is actually kind of an interesting one. Not one you see used too much, at least I don't see it used too much. I don't do that much competitive battle, so maybe I'm really wrong. But it is going to be a Splash Plate, which is, of course, an Arceus Plate, but it does have a different effect when used as a held item, and that it gives times 1.2 damage. So that's basically just plus 20% damage for all water-type moves. So if you think about it, Now, personally, I don't actually know how these actually get added up in total. I just know it's a lot of numbers, and I don't know in which order or how they're affected by each other and things like that. But if we talk about it, basically the way that it's going to work is we got our stab bonus plus 50%. We got our adaptability, which doubles that to 100%. Then we actually have our Dragon Dance, which each Dragon Dance does plus 50% attack. And then we have that Splash Plate, which is going to do plus 20% attack for water type moves. So combining all that up, that's a lot of increased damage, which is why Crawdaunt can actually hit with an insane amount of power. It's actually pretty crazy, the things you can actually kill with this guy. So we're going to actually go ahead and try to buy a Splash Plate off of another player. Now, there are a few different ways that you can get Splash Plates. Number one, through bosses. The top tier of bosses have a chance of dropping Arceus Plates. You can also get them through the Battle Tower. That's actually a really good way to get them. I believe in some dungeons you can find Splash Plates, although it's really rare because a lot of the dungeons have already been raided on the server, so that's pretty unlikely. You can also get them from Pokeloots, but that's another thing where it's like so many of the Pokeloots have already been gathered that it's probably not very likely for you to get it that way. So I'd say probably through crates, the Battle Tower, or just boss drops is your best way to get them naturally. If you want to get them from another player, that's probably the best way to go if you don't want to spend a bunch of time grinding it out. Because really, you come across a lot of these things randomly, so some player is bound to have it while you might have another plate that they might be interested, or just money or an item or something like that. So I always find it easier to do trades. Of course, me being the owner on the server, it's a little bit easier to get people's attention with a trade, but you should still have some luck finding one if you offer up enough money or a Pokemon or items or something that people are interested in. All right, so EVs are actually impacted by an experience all, or actually we may have got them just because we swapped into battle that one time. I'm not too sure, but either way, we're going to use the Poke Designer for our EVs just to make things a little bit easier to explain, because if you go and battle the trainers at Warp Training, which I highly recommend, do not recommend using gyms for EVs. It does not take long to EV train. Just for the sake of the video, it's a little bit easier to just showcase what EVs I'm getting and why if I just use the designer. But if you come here, you can get EVs, takes 3-4 minutes to EV train a Pokemon fully. But if we jump into the Poke Designer, hop on to Crawdaunt, go into IVs and EVs, and then we want to actually focus primarily on our attack and speed EVs. The reason we're doing that is just so that we can outspeed certain Pokemon that have lower speed. Crawdaunt speed really isn't that great, but there are some Pokemon that you'll want to outspeed that you won't be able to unless you put the EVs in the speed stat and have that Jolly nature. So we're going to boost that all the way up to the max, which I know it says 255, but you want to go for 252 because those last 3 EVs are completely worthless to you because every 4 EVs equals 1 stat point. So that's something really important to keep in mind. You never want to go for the 255 in a stat. You always want to go for 252 in 1 or 2 stats and then split up your EVs. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but you don't want to go over 252. We also want our attack to be 252. So we'll boost that all the way up to maximum there. And then we need to actually get rid of our defensive EV. We need to make sure that our special attack is at 0. And then we'll boost our special defense up to 4. Because like I said, it takes 4 EVs to get a stat point, so if you have any remainder, it's just not really worth it. The one thing is you will have 2 EVs left over, so those don't really matter. They don't impact anything. Not sure why they actually did that with the Pokemon games. It's a little bit weird, but let's go ahead and confirm that. 510 gems. Please do not use gems to EV train your Pokemon. I just want to make that really clear. I'm only doing it for the sake of the video because it does save a little bit of time, but mainly it makes it easier to showcase things. But use this training zone. It costs 20,000 coins. You get access for 24 hours. So say you have 10 Pokemon you need to EV train. You just go in here, purchase $20,000, purchase a pass for that. Go access the training zone, train them all up in maybe 20-30 minutes, and then you can actually just not pay for it on days that you're not going to use it. So the last thing I need to do is try my best to get that splash plate. I'm going to ask in chat if anyone has one that I can purchase off of them, and we'll see how much it actually ends up costing me. I don't normally like to purchase things off other players too much, just because it feels like a lot of the time I'm getting better deals than what you guys could get because I do own the server. With that being said, that's probably the way I would recommend for you guys to go about it. If you don't have a splash plate, buy one off someone else, because all the other methods take a lot more time, and really it just comes down to if someone has randomly happened to get one that they're not using and they are willing to sell it. All right, so I was actually able to get this splash plate. The guy actually tried to give it to me for free. I really appreciate that. I did end up paying him 100,000 because I'm just not really sure what the price is. But Envision, thank you for the plate. I really appreciate it. That's the kind of thing where it's like I don't necessarily love buying things off other players because I don't know if I'm scamming them or getting it for too cheap. So I try to ask in chat. Someone said it was worth 100K. So I paid 100K for it, but it might be worth a lot more. It might be worth less. I don't really know. Either way, guys, that is our Crawdaunt completely done and dusted. We got every single thing that we need. We got our adaptability, which is great because it powers up same type moves. It gives us additional stab bonus, which if you again, I already explained this like 6 times. I don't know why I explained the same things like 10 times in a video. Did you watch the first half of this video? You probably already know what stab bonus is then. So I guess that's really it. That's all the information you really need about Crawdaunt. It's a really awesome Pokemon. Definitely underused in my experience. I don't see it around too much. But if you are interested in seeing me use it, I'll probably be using it on my team in future videos for wager battles and things like that. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more videos like this one. I actually really enjoy making these how to train your Pokemon videos. It gives me something to do, gives me a video idea, and I think a lot of you guys enjoy it too. So if you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and of course comment down below with other Pokemon that you want to see in this series. But even more importantly than that, if you have any changes, modifications, different setups that you can use for Crawdaunt, leave those down in the comment section below because there are so many different moves and different variants of Pokemon in this game that there's probably 100 different ways you can use a Crawdaunt. This is just the one that I'm using, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best one, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's the one that you have to use. So you can change things up to make it work for whatever situation you're using it in, whatever team composition you have, and there might be some ideas down in the description below that are even better than this one, though I think this one is pretty good. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you online at my server, Pokecentral.org. Make sure to go ahead and check out the boosters if you're interested in that. And of course, like always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.